The Grand Conclave of the 60th Spiral had not gathered in 3,000 years, and yet today every seat was filled. From the crystalline benches of the Draxian scholars to the shadowed alcoves of the Mind Weavers, every species that considered itself civilized had sent a representative. The council chamber, a colossal sphere suspended in orbit above a dying star, thrummed with psychic tension. And all because of one species: humanity. The council had tried to avoid this meeting for decades, pretending the issue did not concern them, pretending humans were simply another primitive race stumbling into the stars. But humanity had not stayed primitive. Humanity had not stayed quiet. And when their expansion, their unpredictability, and their refusal to obey ancient interstellar norms grew too disruptive, the council had no choice left. They would judge humanity's existence, not their crimes, not their wars, not their politics, their existence. Were humans too dangerous to be allowed into the galactic fold? Too chaotic to coexist with civilizations that had long abandoned violence, war, and instinct-driven behavior? Too emotionally volatile to be trusted? These were the questions that led to the Council's most controversial decision: summon a human representative and dissect human logic itself. The chamber dimmed as the conclave speaker rose, his translucent body shimmering like liquid glass. The trial begins. The species designated Homo sapiens will be evaluated. Bring forth the human. A single platform rose from the floor. Upon it stood a lone man in a simple dark uniform, hands calmly behind his back. Commander Elias Ward. No guards. No restraints. No fear. He looked around the room with the quiet, unshaken confidence that only humans seemed to possess even in the jaws of doom. The speaker's radiating voice echoed through the chamber. Human, you stand before the conclave to answer for your species. State your name and purpose. Commander Elias Ward, he replied. My purpose is to listen, understand, and correct your assumptions. A ripple of disbelief passed through the delegates. Correct? A human was going to correct the most ancient council in the galaxy? The speaker continued. Humanity's file contains contradictions, inconsistencies, anomalies, and absurdities that defy classification. Today, the council seeks an explanation. Ward smiled faintly. That's the human specialty. A whisper of confusion moved through the chamber. The first inquiry came from the Draxian Scholar General, whose crystalline form resonated like ringing metal. Commander Ward, it began, your species engages in self-destructive behavior even without external threats. Alcohol consumption, high-risk entertainment, reckless experimentation, warfare among yourselves. Why? Ward shrugged. Because we can. The Draxian froze. That is not an answer. It's the truest answer you'll get, Ward said. Humans explore the limits of their existence. Sometimes recklessly, sometimes brilliantly. Our progress is built on the edge between both. But that is illogical, the Draxian insisted. Ward nodded. Exactly. More murmurs rippled across the chamber. The speaker signaled the next question. From the Mind Weavers came a droning psychic voice. Humans experience extreme emotional fluctuation. Fear, joy, rage, love, despair. How do you maintain societal stability with such volatile biology? Ward raised an eyebrow. We don't. Silence. Shock. We survive because of chaos, not despite it, he continued. Our emotions drive us to protect, to innovate, to fight for meaning in a universe that offers none. Our chaos is our stability. The Mind Weaver shivered, its tendrils curling inward. This answer contradicts itself. Yes, Ward said. And it's still true. Gasps. Sharp breaths. A few species recoiled as though struck. Commander Ward continued calmly. Look, humans aren't like the rest of you. You evolved in controlled environments. You cultivated stability and predictability. We evolved on a death world that tried to kill us every day. We adapted by becoming paradoxes. The speaker tapped its gavel against the air. Human, you speak in riddles. No, Ward said. I speak in human. The council paused. For the first time in the long history of their rule, the conclave realized they were facing something they were not equipped to understand. The speaker motioned. Proceed with the deeper analysis. A towering creature from the Akrith Dominion rose. Its serrated exoskeleton scraped against the stone-like bench. Commander Ward, humanity has invented weapons capable of destroying planets. You have engineered plagues, bombs, and devices that violate the natural laws of war. And yet you claim to be peaceful. Explain this contradiction. Ward inhaled slowly. Because humans don't prepare for war. We prepare for loss. That stunned the chamber. Weapons aren't just tools of destruction, Ward continued. They're promises. Promises that we won't be helpless. Promises that we won't be victims ever again. Humanity's history is carved by invasions, disasters, betrayals. Our response: never be unprepared. The Akrith officer snarled. That is not reassurance. It wasn't meant to be, Ward replied. A wave of tension rolled through the room. The speaker began to realize something troubling. Human logic was not logic. At least, not any logic the council recognized. Next came the Valen philosopher, their bodies fluid like living shadows. Human, explain why your species forms attachments so deep that individuals sacrifice themselves for strangers. This behavior is counter to natural selection. Ward smiled softly. Is it? Yes, the Valen replied. It makes no rational sense. Ward stepped forward slightly. Maybe not to you. But to humans, meaning matters more than survival. We don't want to just live. We want life to mean something. That is irrational. That is human. A heavy stillness settled across the chamber. A Jarathi war sage, massive and horned, leaned forward. Your species receives almost no biological advantages. You are weaker, slower, and more fragile than most starfaring civilizations. How do you dominate every environment you enter? Ward gave a calm smile. We don't dominate environments. We refuse to submit to them. That is the same thing, the Jarathi growled. No, Ward said. Dominance is ruled by strength. Defiance is ruled by will. Humans win because we choose to continue long after logic says we should fail. The sage's eyes narrowed. That is dangerous. It is, Ward admitted. But you should also know this. Humans don't just fight to win. We fight because giving up feels like betrayal. To ourselves. To each other. To the universe. The council members shifted uncomfortably. The speaker's voice trembled. Human, your reasoning is not compatible with any known cognitive framework. Ward replied. You asked for human logic. This is it. A hush fell. For many species, this was the first time fear ever entered their hearts. The council moved to the next phase. The chamber darkened, and a holographic sphere formed in the air, displaying humanity's timeline. Wars, triumphs, tragedies, inventions, explorations, leaps in science, catastrophes, recoveries. Every pattern, every cycle, every irrational turn. A Vari mathematician stepped forward. We analyzed your history. It defies predictive patterns. Progress emerges from disaster. Unity emerges from division. Innovation emerges from destruction. This inversion of natural order should be impossible. Ward folded his arms. Yet there it is. How do you explain it? The mathematician demanded. Pressure, Ward answered. Humans evolve fastest when we're pushed hardest. That is the opposite of evolutionary stability, the mathematician snapped. Exactly. The Vari stepped back, visibly shaken. The speaker addressed him directly now. Humanity is a contradiction wrapped in paradox. There is no linear motivation, no consistent survival strategy, no moral baseline. How does your society function? Ward smirked. Barely. What? Barely, he repeated. Humans are messy, flawed, chaotic. We don't function the way logical species do. Our unity isn't programmed. Our morality isn't predetermined. Our society survives because we keep choosing to try. The chamber shuddered with disbelief. Every alien species here, Ward said, scanning the room, is united by clarity. You know what you are. You know your purpose. Humans don't. We're still figuring ourselves out, day by day, century by century. Then you admit your species is unstable. Of course we are, Ward replied. But instability doesn't make us dangerous. It makes us capable of any outcome. That, more than anything, frightened the council. Because any outcome included the worst outcome. The speaker leaned forward. Human, the conclave must determine whether your species should be restricted or integrated. Your answers have brought us no closer to judgment. They have only deepened our confusion. Ward nodded. Then let me clarify something important. He stepped to the center of the platform. The lights dimmed, focusing on him alone. You keep trying to judge humans by alien logic, he said. That's your mistake. The room froze. Humanity isn't meant to make sense. We're not supposed to fit your frameworks. We think sideways. We see patterns you don't. We break rules when the rules fail. We reject limits. We embrace contradictions. We're emotional and analytical, violent and compassionate, reckless and calculating. We are everything at once. The speaker's voice cracked. That is an existential threat. That, Ward said gently, is existence. A new voice rose from the shadows. An elder species older than any in the chamber. The Thrini Oracle. For millennia, it said, we believed logic governed the universe. That structure defined life. Its eyes, swirling galaxies of light, fixed on Ward. But humans violate every universal principle we have studied. You should not exist. And yet you do. Why, human? Why does your species persist? Ward answered without hesitation. Because we refuse to be anything else. Silence swallowed the chamber whole. After long minutes, the speaker gathered the courage to speak again. Human, the conclave cannot classify your kind. You are illogical, paradoxical, contradictory, inconsistent. You break rules of reason. Ward nodded. And that's exactly why you need us. The entire chamber reeled. Ward continued. Your civilizations are ancient, stable, predictable. But predictability stagnates. Logic without imagination is a cage. You've grown complacent. You've forgotten how to change. And you believe humans can guide us? The speaker asked. No, Ward said. Humans don't guide. We challenge. We disrupt. We push. We force the universe to adapt. He softened slightly. And sometimes, we inspire. The council exchanged glances, uncertain, overwhelmed, shaken to their cores. Finally, the conclave speaker rose. We cannot judge humanity, it said, because humanity breaks the very concept of judgment. Ward smiled faintly. Now you're starting to understand. But we can choose, the speaker continued, to either fear your unpredictability or embrace it. And which will you choose? Ward asked. The speaker bowed its shimmering head. Integration. Humanity is unpredictable, but not malevolent. Illogical, but not destructive without reason. Dangerous, but not in the way we feared. You are an anomaly, but you are part of this galaxy now. A slow wave of nods spread through the chamber. Finally, the speaker addressed Ward one last time. Human, your logic broke our minds today. Ward's grin widened. That, he said, was the plan. And as the conclave members watched him leave the platform, many realized something they had never imagined before. Humanity was not the galaxy's greatest threat. Humanity was its greatest possibility.